Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
People are becoming harder to convince. Not because they're cynical, not because they've stopped trusting people. I think they're becoming more discerning. They have seen too many polished messages, too many carefully managed images, captions, copy, and now AI has entered the conversation, which raises an interesting question. Is AI changing what people see and who they trust? Hello and welcome to Unbox the Podcast. I'm Sahar Huneidi Palmer, best-selling author, intuitive life mentor, and your host. Last year, much of our conversation was focused on the stories we tell ourselves, the stories that shape our beliefs, influence our choices, and sometimes keeps us from being fully authentic. We discussed how we can change them, how we can write a new story that reflects who we are now. This year, the conversation has evolved. Our theme is the courage to be you, because awareness is only the first step. Once you understand who you are, the next challenge is having the courage to live it, to trust it, to express it, and to show up as yourself, even when it would be easier to fit someone else's expectation. Perhaps this is why today's topic feels so relevant. As technology becomes more powerful and AI becomes part of everyday life, the question is no longer simply how do we communicate? The question is whether we remain connected to who we are while we're doing it. And I believe that has got a lot to do with trust. Let's unbox it together. People are becoming more discerning. Over the last few months, I've noticed something interesting. People seem to be less willing to accept things at face value, whether it's a leader, an expert, a company's public figure, or even a friend. People are paying closer attention. They're looking beyond the message. They want to know who sits behind that persona, who is speaking, what do they really believe in? Do their actions support their words? And perhaps most importantly, are they consistent? I don't think people trust less than they used to. I think they've simply seen more. They have seen organizations talk about values, not live by them. They have seen experts appear overnight. They have seen carefully curated online identities and singers and entertainers. They have seen people present an image that looks impressive but feels disconnected from reality. And because of that, people are asking different questions, not consciously perhaps, but instinctively. They're looking for signs that somebody means what they say, that they are who they appear to be. They're looking for signs that somebody is real. So what is AI really changing? Whenever people talk about AI, conversation becomes more extreme. Either AI is going to solve everything or AI is going to destroy everything. Personally, I believe the truth is somewhere in between. I don't think AI is the problem itself, but how we use it and who uses it and how is it being regulated. For example, according to the World Health Organization, road traffic crashes cause well over 1 million deaths worldwide each year, making driving or cars one of the leading causes of death globally. But are we going to stop driving? I don't think so. The technology itself is neutral. Like any tool, it can support us or distract us. It can help us communicate more clearly, Or it can help us organize our thinking, I don't know, brainstorm with it perhaps, which is how I use it sometimes. It can help us become more productive. Or it can help us create a version of ourselves that is disconnected from who we truly are. What matters is whether we use it in a way that reflects our values, identities, experience, and true authentic identity, not a made up one. What I find fascinating is that AI may actually be helping people become more discerning. As more content becomes easy to create, people seem to be paying greater attention. Who sits behind the content? They're actually becoming bored of automatically generated or unrealistically generated AI content. They're asking different questions. They're asking themselves, does this feel genuine? Does it sound like somebody who has actually lived that experience, been there? Do I trust the person behind the words? In a strange way, AI is not replacing authenticity. It may be helping us recognize it. Because when everybody has access to the same tools, what starts to matter is not the tool, it's the person using it, their judgment, their values, their experience, their integrity. And perhaps this is the real opportunity, not to compete with AI, but to become more fully aware of ourselves while we're using it. Here's the difference between attention and trust. For years, we were told that visibility was the answer. Build your profile, grow your audience, be seen, stand out, do something differently. Visibility still matters. People cannot connect with you if they don't see you, if they don't know that you exist. But being known and being trusted are not the same thing. Think about the people whose advice you genuinely trust. Usually, it is not because they're the loudest voice in the room. Usually, it is not because they post every day or show up at every conference. It is because over time, they have earned your trust. Their actions support their words. Their values remain clear and consistent. You know where you stand with them. Trust is built through interactive experience, not exposure. And I think more people are beginning to recognize this distinction. Here's the puzzle piece. I recently came across a clip of Sharon Stone speaking on a podcast. She was reflecting on advice her father gave her many years ago. In essence, it was really simple. Do not allow other people to change who you are in order to fit their expectations. Then she described the feeling of being herself as being like the final piece of the puzzle sticking into place. She then described the feeling of being herself all the time, doing what's genuinely important to her, as being like the feeling you have when the final piece of the puzzle fits into place. I love that image, that click, because most of us know exactly what that feels like. We know when we are forcing ourselves into a role, and we know when we're trying to become what somebody else wants us to be. We know when we are adjusting ourselves to fit in, gain approval, meet expectations. And what we also know is the relief that comes when we finally fit. When we stop performing, when we stop pretending, when we stop trying to become someone else, there is a sense of ease. There's a sense of congruence. There's a sense of coherence. Call it whatever you want. There's a sense of coming home to yourself. That is invaluable. What struck me most was another point she made. Each one of us has something unique to contribute. If we're not being ourselves, then we cannot add to the pool, we cannot contribute whatever it is we carry innately within us. We cannot fulfill our purpose by abandoning ourselves. And perhaps that is where trust begins, not with influence, not just with visibility, not even simply with communication, but it is having the courage to be you. So what comes before trust? This is where I think the conversation becomes really interesting because most people focus on communication. I'm talking about leadership, even self-leadership in the relationships that you're in. Communication is very important. That makes me laugh actually, because today I had a conversation with a friend and he's saying, this is how I am. I'm basically, this is what he was saying. And you talk too much. And I never thought of myself as somebody who talks too much, apart from the podcast, but we'll see where that's going. So, how do you sound more credible? How do you become more influential? How do you trust? How do you build trust? And yet, very few people ask what comes before all of these things. Through more than 3 decades of working with clients, I have found that trust rarely begins with communication. It begins with self-awareness. If you, the other, the audience, your friends, your family are not aware enough, that will create friction because self-awareness creates alignment. When you understand your values, your motivation, your strength, your fears, your beliefs, your behavior naturally becomes more consistent. Your decisions become clearer. Your communication becomes more authentic. You stop trying hard to create an image and begin expressing who you truly are. Often, people talk about authenticity as though it's a strategy. I don't see it that way, to be honest with you. Authenticity is usually the result of knowing who you are, being the same person all the time, centered in your core essence. And people can feel the difference. They may not always be able to explain it, they will feel it. Let's talk about the BEMA Connection. This is exactly why the 4 dimensions of change sit at the heart of my work: body, emotions, mind, and belief system. When those are aligned, your actions become naturally natural. You become more congruent. The way you feel, think, communicate begins to click and support the message or the communication you're trying to put across. People experience consistency instead of perfection. Consistency instead of perfection. Your values show up in your decisions. Your beliefs show up in your actions. Your words and behavior start aligning, telling the same story, which is why in relationships, it's the same. If what you say and what you do are different, then there will be friction because of lack of alignment. And that is where trust begins, not because you're trying to build trust, not because you're trying to arrive at a natural outcome out of alignment, but because trust becomes a natural outcome of being aligned, of being self-aware and aligned. So, do we have a new criteria for authenticity in the age of AI? I think AI is creating a new criteria for authenticity. Not because authenticity itself has changed. In the past, people often judged credibility, title, qualifications, visibility. I still see some people who attach a whole series of initials next to their name as though that adds more to credibility or trust. People now are looking for coherence. Does this person sound like themselves? Do their actions match their message? Do they show up consistently over time? Do they actually live what they're talking about? These are the questions that matter. And they matter because people are becoming more discerning. People are tired of generic content. The more powerful our tools become, the more important self-awareness becomes. Because technology cannot replace character or the human connection. No technology can replace integrity. And no technology can replace the trust that develops when people consistently connect and experience alignment or resonance or vibe. Today, we explored whether AI is changing what people see and what they trust. We talked about why people are becoming more discerning in spite of all the content that you see. I look for trends, and this one is so clear to me that AI is not just the problem, and you're not missing anything because you don't know how to use AI, which is what most advertising is. You still need to be you. Yes, learn the skill, but be true to yourself. The way we use AI says more about us than the technology itself. How authenticity may become even more valuable in an AI-driven world, and why self-awareness and alignment and congruence remain the foundation of trust. Perhaps the real opportunity is not learning to appear more authentic. Perhaps it is becoming more authentic. Because when our values, actions, and communications are aligned, trust follows naturally. And perhaps that is what courage really looks like. Not becoming somebody new, but having the courage to be who you truly are. Thank you for joining me today on Unbox the Podcast. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Certainly, that now we're in video, I'm still working on it, but do let me know. Has AI made you more discerning? Send me a message and let me know where you're listening from. And if you're looking for greater alignment and clarity, visit my website. Explore the different resources that I have available: books, mentoring, programs, e-learning at your own pace, and definitely my newsletter. And before you go, please subscribe or follow this podcast. It will help more people like you find me. Many people listen every week, but never subscribe. And as you know, that small statistic, that small action makes a real difference. Until next time, stay grounded, have the courage to be you. See you next Tuesday.